Good morning, everybody. It is Saturday, August 4th or 5th, I think, the first Saturday in August. And it's a beautiful rainy day. Let me open the door, say hello to these guys. Hey, guys. Mama Duck and Daddy Duck out here. So it's raining out. Beautiful. Getting a lot of rain this season. It's great. Don't have to irrigate at all. Got some potted plants here that Ayana's taking care of, my youngest daughter. Anyway, I'm going to go back in because I was already outside this morning milking the cows and I already got drenched once and I don't want to get drenched again. But I wanted to make a video about making fermented dilly beans today. So we have an abundance of beans now. And I decided to make fermented dilly beans, which I've made in the past and love it. So I was going to share the recipe. So I got my whole bunch of beans in here. I have a ton of beans downstairs in my cooler, but I only brought enough to make about a gallon today. Gallon of dilly beans. I got my recipe in here. And I'm going to make enough for one of these gallon jars right here. All right. So I'll show you my whole process. It's really easy actually. Dilly beans or any fermented food I think is really easy and delicious, really healthy. All the benefits of fermented foods, you can read about them online and books, but my favorite book, let me see if I can find it here. I'm a little bit disorganized today, don't have my stuff laid out or anything, but that's all right. Okay, so this is my favorite fermentation book and my favorite author, Sandor Alex Katz. He's really great, and this is his older book. It's got a brand new, well, not brand new, sorry, it's at least 2 years old now. It's new to me, but he's got a new fermentation book that I think is more comprehensive, and I've seen it at my friend's house, but don't have it myself yet. But anyway, this book works well enough for me, so this is what I'm still using for the stuff I make, which is from his book. Here I make mostly fermented cucumber pickles, dilly beans. I've made sauerkraut, which came out amazing. And what else? I made fermented carrots. So, you know, just basic recipe that I picked up from him, and then I kind of modified along the years to suit my own taste. All right, so what I did so far is I got my gallon jar over here and I put about 2 tablespoons of these hot red pepper flakes on the bottom. I'm sorry, 2 teaspoons. And you can put as much as you want, whatever, you know, if you really like it hot or spicy, you know, put more. If you don't, just put a lot less or skip it altogether. I also put about 1 teaspoon of black peppercorns. I'm gonna put this dill, nice dill that I harvested in the garden. I'm gonna put that in there. And if you don't have fresh dill, you can use dry dill or dill seed, or if you have dill in your garden and it's gone to flower, you can definitely use that. You can use the stalks, the flower heads, basically any part of the dill plant you can use. It's very good. And then I have my beans over here that I just washed. And what I'm doing here is just basically cutting these stem ends off. Like the stem ends right here. These little ends, I'm just like chopping that off and composting them. And you definitely don't have to do that. If I didn't have enough time, I would just skip it, and you can ferment them whole with the ends. and then just kind of chop off the ends as you're eating them. Oh, and the other thing I put in, you can see my garlic crusher here, or 4 nice cloves of garlic that I just barely crushed. So that's what I have. So what I'm going to do is continue chopping all of these beans that I washed in here, and then I'm going to take them and put them in the jar, stuff them in the jar. And then here what I have is my brine, which I just heated up a little bit to dissolve the salt. So this is 2 quarts of water with about 5 tablespoons of sea salt in it. And just one thing about the salt is you want to use good quality salt. You don't want to use iodized salt, because I think the iodine will actually interfere with the fermentation process. So I use, you know, just good quality. I actually used Redmond sea salt today. But in the past, I also used, let me show you this Diamond Crystal kosher salt. So basically any salt, you know, you can use the really coarse salt, sea salt that you buy at the store too. But any salt without iodine in it will work. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to let the brine cool off a little bit because it's hot. I'm going to let it cool off for maybe 10 minutes or so. And in the meantime, I'm going to chop my beans and stuff them in the jar along with the dill. And then I'm going to pour the brine right on top of everything, and I'm done. All right, so I'm out here in the pasture now because there's one ingredient that I forgot to tell you about before, and I think it's actually an important ingredient that I'm going to look for right here. But first, let me show you the cows because they're just hanging out in their pasture. I think they just ate some of this nice clover and grasses. And they're taking a little siesta right now. Hi, girls. What are you guys up to? Just hanging out? See, they like to be together like this. They're all a big family, and they love to be together. The baby's right here up front. Hi, Juliet. How are you, sweetheart? It's getting so big. That's Mama right there, Mama Jasmine, the one that I milk every morning. All right, so the ingredient I'm talking about is grapevine leaves. I use them in my cucumber pickles and the dilly, I can't say this word, dilly bean pickles. So let me get over this fence and I'm gonna find it. I want to show you. I know we have wild grapes growing all around here, so whenever I need them I just come out. So here they are, just a wild vine growing here. All right, and so this is the leaf shape that you want to look for. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a few bigger ones, like this size. And I'm going to grab maybe about 4 of them. And try not to hurt the vine. Thank you for the leaves. And then I'll show you later how I put it in the jar. All right, here we go. So I got 4 leaves. That's enough. And here are the cows. Let's go see them. I always get distracted when I do things, but that's okay. Too many good things around, I guess. What are you guys up to? Sorry to disturb your rest. Hi, mamas. The flies, huh? We just had a lot of rain this morning, earlier this week, so I think the flies are at their best right now. Worse, I guess, is too. All right, I'm gonna head back to the house. All right, so I'm back in the house, and there's some house repairs going on, so if you hear noise in the background, that's what it is. But so I got my beans here, the brine, and everything else I talked about before, and my leaves that I just picked, my grape leaves. So all I do with these guys is I'm gonna start off with 2 of them and put them right on top. Kind of what I'm trying to do is to get them in there and also to get them to hold the beans under the brine. Because you basically want, whatever you're fermenting, in this case beans, you want them to be submerged under the brine at all times. So I'm gonna use my leaves to basically help me do that. And to do the other important thing that I picked them for, which is to keep the pickles crisp. That's why you put them in there. That's the main reason, is grape leaves will keep your whatever you're pickling, your cucumber pickles or your bean pickles, it will keep them nice and crisp. At least that's what I found in my experience, and I read about it before and I tried it, and I find that it is true. They come out nice and crisp. So I just put 2 of the leaves in there. Looks pretty good. I think I'm just gonna put 1 more. And I'm happy with this. I like how this looks. Everything's submerged except for a few of the spices. And by the way, you can see here, I added some coriander seeds. So these little spices right here, that's what you're seeing. It's coriander seed. I just kind of, at the last minute, decided to add that in as well. And one other change that I had to make to the recipe I gave you before is that I found that the brine I made originally was not enough to fill my jar. So I ended up actually making more like 4 quarts of water with about 10 to 12 tablespoons of salt. That's how I made my brine. So I ended up needing to make about that much to fill up my jar. So that's it, I'm done. So now what I'm gonna do is take this jar and basically put it on the counter, or I'm actually gonna move it right here on my table where I'm also culturing my cheese. Right there is my cheese that I'm actually gonna, it's pretty much done drying. That was drying, and I need to put it in the cheese cave now. But these beans are gonna sit there here on the table for a few days, and you know, this will vary depending on the temperature, you know, ambient temperature, what time of the year you're making them. But if you're making them at this time of the year, which is early August, and you know, the temperature is in the 80s or something like that, I find you know, it takes only about 3 to 4 days on the counter for them to get nice and to start souring, basically. And at that point, I keep tasting every day. You know, starting around day 3, I start tasting. And at first they just taste kind of bland, just salty, you know. And then after, slowly, they're gonna start getting more and more sour. And after about 5 days, at this time of the year, I'm pretty happy with how they taste. So I moved them to the fridge because I want to slow down the fermentation. You can just keep having them on the counter or on your table, but they're gonna ferment quick and they're gonna get sour really quick. So I want to move, I try to move them to the fridge just so I can slow down the fermentation and eat them for a longer period of time. So I hope that was helpful. And thank you for watching. And good luck in your own fermentation processes. All right, have a great weekend, everybody.